to the Children of Primus.
And we are live. Spin, you are muted.
Then we got no sound from you.
There we go. The unmuted version of
go.
welcome. Can't say much when you're muted, or else it would be a no talkies type of show from back in the day. So we'd have to just do all hand movements.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Get it to where we could print out right here, and it's just all text based to say.
Mm-hmm. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Just wonderful.
Cool.
My best friend from my childhood, Charlie, is in from Hawaii. That's who we're going to go and stay with for our honeymoon.
Nice.
And they gave us our wedding gift. They're paying for our hotel the week that we're down there.
Nice. Cool. I know off screen we're going to have to talk some wedding stuff because I know between our countries there's stuff happening. So it's yeah, and I'm
Airplanes.
It's making good people like yourself and the rest of us but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. But on the brighter side, we're going to talk about Transformers that even if someone gave you $1 million, you wouldn't buy them. Like, Transformers you do not want to buy for any apparent reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that's easy for me, Bayverse.
Oh, hello.
Well,
I just don't see the appeal. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they're drawn. I don't like the way they transform. I own 2 of them, and they've never been opened because I actually own those cars. I have the 2 Bumblebees that came out in the first gen of Bayverse.
Okay.
The 2 Camaros.
I actually have something to reveal in one moment if I can send this thing to my mother.
Oh, yeah, I got a few. Oh, hey. Yeah, the concept Camaro Bumblebee was like the rarest item at the time. You
This one?
couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
The
old one?
The new one.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that guy was like super rare at the time. Everybody was scrambling to find one.
Interesting.
Well,
Mario says, welcome, Children of
hello there,
Primus.
Mario.
Welcome, Mario. Thank you for dropping in. Don't forget to subscribe and like.
Notice anything weird about Q's box?
Oh, there isn't a. You've acquired the rare stealth variant.
Nice.
There he is.
For Q in person, he actually is a very good figure. The only problem I have with him is he cannot bend his knees. He can only do this.
Weird.
He can do the reverse knee.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Interesting.
I just saw the Studio Series version on shelves because it just came out, and I definitely think the old one actually looks better because they had more
I
of a
would
budget
agree.
back then. Yeah.
Like, look, do you see this? The head looks 10 times better than
Yeah.
the new one.
Well, I mean, he's still an ugly son of a gun no matter what way you look at it.
Yeah.
You know,
Fair point.
If you like your Transformers to have insectoid faces.
So
sometimes that can be nifty.
a little bit of a Skeletor look going on there. And Cruisers Motorsport is saying to Magnus, hard to find because the car wasn't made yet and no one had the license for it.
And I love his mech tech weapon for it being the only style of it.
I have physical examples of
Cool.
things that people of the question that was asked of us, and you might wonder how I have physical samples. Well, I can explain behind that.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful with your answer. I know where that may lead. Where that could possibly be lead to.
Well, no. So here's the thing.
fingers.
I love it when my friends who don't super duper know Transformers get me ones because I get to look at the strangest things that I would not have purchased myself. Hence the question, right?
Yep.
So I like the things that I've got. Yeah.
The Beaver Flow shelf.
Yeah.
Well, careful.
So it's like,
You know,
I like the,
with that many Unicrons, like other Transformers that Magnus wouldn't generally buy are going to show up on his shelves.
yeah. So it's like, what do I have the examples of here? So, like, first of all, I showed these off at Christmas. 2 friends of mine gave me the little Rock'em Sock'em Robot guys, right?
Mhm.
Where you can get them to fight each other, and they transform too. These are nifty, and I like getting them as a gift. I would absolutely not have purchased these myself, but I'm glad to have them, especially considering they were presents from my friends. Okay?
Cool.
And they're neat. They're on the short list of eventual things to review if I got a free week. Like little non-transforming Grimlock PVC here. My friend Andrew randomly picked that up at the dollar store and gave it to me. I probably
have a
wouldn't have
bunch
done
of
that, but
those.
now I have this cool little Grimlock that goes on my shelf with all the other Grimlocks.
I think
Shout
I
out
have
to
all
Andrew.
those little guys.
Yeah. And then, so actually, he got the other thing. This is one of the weirdest things I own. Okay, so this is a Power Battler that was one of the kids' gimmick toys from Age of Extinction, and this is Nemesis Prime, who didn't even come out in America. This is a Takara thing. So it's a Takara repaint of a gimmick toy. So this is like both a kid's gimmick toy and also rare uncommon. He got this for me. It's just so incredibly strange. Like,
So we
look at the
both
gimmick
just
it
have
does.
Takara toys randomly laying around.
Yeah, I got to show off the gimmick because it's weird. So he's supposed to have a sword slashing gimmick. Give me the big screen. There we go. He squeezes his legs and he slashes his sword, right?
That's cool.
Which he does by
That-
having his
that
arms
looks
full behind
weird.
his back and a second prehensile set of arms come up from behind his back with the sword.
That is so
Just
cool.
Hey,
incredibly
see-
strange design.
See, I
choice.
was going, where the hell did the sword come from?
Yeah,
Because I was looking at the hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works at this resolution, I guess. You know, I've never seen it like on camera like this, so I guess it is kind of a neat magic trick here. It's just in person, you're like, oh, he has 4 arms. The 2 arms go away, 2 arms come out.
You know, that'd be
Yeah,
interesting, like for a Lionel from the Thundercats, make a little figure like that.
Oh, wouldn't it?
and, like he transforms too. He's actually, the robot mode looks weird, but he's got a good looking vehicle mode because they got the license and everything. So he's got that going for him too.
Ah, very cool. And Mario says, "You guys don't know, this is the first live stream I've ever been." Well, that is
Oh,
very cool. So,
Well, we're
nice to
happy to
see
be
ya.
your first.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll throw the question to you: Is are there any Transformers within the franchise? You know, depending when you came in, or if you've been a long time friend, any Transformers that no matter if someone gave you $1 million, you just would not go out and buy them. And I'm going to throw that to cruisers as well.
I'm thinking of when there was that Walmart sale that everybody seized on, so I never even got the chance, where so many things were just $3 flat, and I'm like, I don't think there's a lot I wouldn't buy here for $3.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of, actually, they took out all the Transformers 1 stuff, and now my Walmart has 4 new Transformers. They have the Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime, the Transformers G1 Scrapper, Transformers Gamer Edition Ironhide, and they have the G1 packaging style Bumblebee. No gears.
Yeah, just as predicted, all these things are coming out now because of these sales.
Mhm.
In fact, I have a quick reveal I can do. I got of my first Age of the Primes thing, which is Blue Generation 2 Grimlock.
So now you have the
Yeah.
G1 Generation 2 Blue Grimlock, and you have that.
Yeah, he comes with a little wheelie minifigure.
Oh,
And
nice.
the interesting thing about this wheelie minifigure is he's colored like he was in the old G1 Earl Norm storybooks, with the painted illustrations.
Right.
They gave him
Would
like
he be a
weird...
good figure? Because I'm right now debating on either getting the comic book edition Grimlock or that one, just because I'm trying to figure out.
Well, the comic book edition has a sword, which this guy doesn't have, which is a big, in my opinion, miss. But yeah, a couple of bases as a comparison for my photos here. Here's the vintage one compared to the new one, both in blue.
Yeah. Except one has a looser leg.
Yeah. I like the fact that I have both of them. And here's the reason why I waited until they did Blue Grimlock. I have the Masterpiece, and the Studio Series is just kind of a downscaled Masterpiece. So they're very similar. Well, actually, as I discovered while I was taking photos, they're less similar than you think. They transform quite a bit differently. But design-wise, this is just a downscale of this one, which is why I waited until there was like a variant, because I'm like, I don't need 2 G1 Grimlocks.
True. It's
Yeah, so I'm in the
interesting.
middle of photo shooting over here. I got the robot mode stuff done. I need to do the T-Rex mode stuff.
I mean, Grimlock's always had basically the same similar design of transformation with that exception that you mentioned.
They basically went off the G1 show, basically. They made sure the Transformers transformed like the show, and they still try and do that to this day.
The big difference with these guys is how his tail transforms, because and it's entirely because they're trying to make him look animation accurate. Everybody's in the wrong mode for me to explain this, but
Okay.
the G1 toy, the back halves of his tail just kind of hang off the sides of his legs.
Yep.
Those weren't there in the animation; they removed those. So both the Masterpiece and the Studio Series 1 do kind of funky tail transformations to make the very back of his tail vanish into his legs. This one's way more complicated. This guy came out so many years later. I guess they figured out a simpler way to do that. Yeah, that's the big difference. Everything else
One
is always
figure,
just like, you know,
like
put
if
the
I had
head
to go
back, flip
off,
these out.
sorry.
It doesn't really change.
In referring to the characters that we shouldn't buy, if I had to go off Transformers right now, from Dark of the Moon, basically, I really am at least happy I'll be getting these characters in the future. But my plan is, characters that you wouldn't supposedly want to get would be most likely the Transformers Dark of the Moon Sideswipe or Ironhide, because I own them and they broke, unfortunately. But that might have been because of my young childhood, because I had these things when I was 5 to 6 and I was still throwing my toys around the room. So there is a fair point that they might have broken. But besides those guys, trying to get those guys, one character that I would say that you should either try and avoid or try and get is the original Dark of the Moon Leadfoot, because it's either a hit or miss with how he looks, if you can actually mess around with him and make him posable. I've watched him at least 10 reviews. He's not bad, though I don't know personally if I'll buy him. And the only reason why I say this is because I want to have all the rare original figures to go on. I just need AoE Dino, I have Q. AoE Dino and Leadfoot are the 3 Dark of the Moon characters I'm missing here that are rare. And then everybody else I just gotta get.
Here's something I would not buy if I had $1 million.
What was that Grimlock you just held up, Anthony?
This one? Oh, this is Age of the Prime's G2 Grimlock. It's the Studio Series figure in different color schemes.
Oh,
I
that
did
makes
not know
me
that they made a blue one like that.
Well,
I've got the
this
one
just.
that's...
Yeah.
Oh, is that
This
new?
is brand new. Like, this just came out, like, last week.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Magnus made me remember something about the Big Bad Toy Store stuff. In Big Bad Toy Store, Nova Prime is now being reissued in Legacy.
Yeah.
Along with some other guys.
so
Might as
people
well
can
just
actually
check.
get 'em.
I'm just gonna check who else is getting reissued right now at the moment. Also, I'm excited for DevCon to get reissued.
Oh yeah, they're
Nice.
finally coming out with
Yeah,
him again.
yeah, I need DevCon. He's one of the wreckers from G1's comic book, old G1 comics. He was a wrecker for a part-time moment, and he's also a
in
G1
the
Autobot.
3H stuff. To answer Mario Rocha's question, yeah, this is an Age of the Primes thing, technically, even though it's Grimlock in his G2 colors. Yeah, it's the only thing I put on pre-order. Here's something funny. I thought I also pre-ordered The Fallen. I did not, and I didn't notice that I didn't pre-order him until he wasn't there with this guy, and then I actually checked. So I'll have to find him when he just comes out normally. That's the only other guy from Wave 1 I was trying to get. Oh, but yeah, to answer another question of something I wouldn't buy for $1 million, any one of the figures that are well-known GPS sufferers, because they're just going to crumble anyway.
Well, explain what that means.
GPS, gold plastic syndrome. It affects...
Oh.
It's a materials problem on some old Transformers. They know what it is now. They don't use those materials anymore, because how do you know, like, a decade out there's going to be problems?
Right.
The plastic gets really brittle and crumbles really easily. Not a lot of... So, some late G1, like... guys are affected by that. One of the members of Monstructor, the Combiner, is.
Mm-hmm.
Generation 2, the Laser Rod Electro is entirely gold. He comes to pieces.
Wow.
The Generation 2 repaint of the Aerial Bot Slingshot was gold. He comes apart. The original Black Zarak from Japan, the repaint of G1 Scorponok, that suffers from it. So a double whammy of being rare and having that problem.
One character... Sorry.
A couple of Beast Wars guys. The original Transmetal Megatron, his waist snaps in half. I had one as a kid. Waist eventually
I saw
snapped in
somebody
half.
on live stream break that thing in half, and it was so horrifying. Somebody was reviewing their collection, and as they were turning that Megatron, it snapped in half.
Yeah, that's what
The
happened.
person fell down crying.
Yeah, it becomes really brittle over time, so it just crumbles really easily. Um, yeah, there's like a few other sufferers here and there, but any one of those, like, no, they're just gonna come to pieces.
One other character I'd say that you should not get unless you own one of them is Bulkhead, and I'm talking Legacy Bulkhead, because the amount of reissues he's getting is nuts, personally, to me. And I'm slightly losing it without trying to get new figures, because the Heat Wave, once I buy him, I'm going to have a friend of mine 3D print a new torso and a new pair of legs, so I can just have a new Heat Wave in general. And then after that, basically, the breakdown, I can definitely say, has a few fixes now, because I've done some research and some people have done 3D, they've done some upgrade kits for him, giving him his shoulder pads along with his shoulder cannon and his hammers, actually. That are not those wrecking balls. And I really, really like how they turned out.
Cool. Now, I think for myself, in terms of any Transformers I wouldn't get, I would say more so probably G2 era, just because the color schemes, because I grew up in G1, so the color schemes kind of throw me off for the G2s, and some of the Bayverse, although I find there are some that the transformations are really cool, but it's that overall design, that kind of the facial design that they gave them, that I'm not a fan of. But there's a few that I have gotten as a gift, and really when you transform them, the articulation and how intricate they are pretty cool. But it's not ones that I would go out and buy.
May I ask, Spin, what are those ones that you personally like but dislike?
Personally, I like and dislike.
From Bayverse. Because for me personally, the most solid Bayverse toy I've ever owned is the Jazz, the original Jazz, because that thing is very solid and very nice, in my opinion.
The one character I have, and only because I've had it for a number of years, I don't recall his name, and I don't even. I think he transformed once. It was the gray car where Sideswipe and I believe RC's chasing him. Sideways.
So you have the original Sideways, and fun fact, that is a Dino reissue.
Ah, cool. Like he's a really cool car.
Yeah, I like the vehicle, though the Dino reissue, I don't get what they were going for, because they redid the head, but they painted his windshields purple.
Oh.
Like, it was very weird. I thought they would just go with the gray plastic, though honestly, there might be a very funny, convenient thing is people learned actually how to replace the plastic by stealing the Sideways' grayish tinted glass plastic and then placing it on it. So I might end up having to buy the Sideways itself, actually, and just paste that onto my Dino when I get him.
So,
which might be fun.
Sideways changed into an Audi in the films. They could not get the license for the merchandise, so he doesn't change into an Audi. So Dino also changed into a Ferrari in the movie. They could not gain the license for a Ferrari, so that's probably why they repainted them from the same base figure. They're like, well, we can't license the car, so we're just gonna use this body.
Fun fact: Sideways is supposed to be a Lamborghini, actually, but Lamborghini did not like the idea of having a vehicle of theirs get sliced in half. So, so basically, they screwed that entire idea and just pulled up Audi, and they had that vehicle go into two. And the old
Audi was just like, sure, you can cut ours in half.
The old animatics for the entire thing was there was supposed to be a fight scene, actually, for him to transform Sideways into a bot mode and fight Sideswipe. And I actually think it would have been cooler to see that, actually.
Yeah, it seems like he was mostly such a quick high and die character because there was so many problems with the licensing and getting it together, so that they just didn't have time to create a proper fight scene for him.
Yep.
Cool.
And
Toyworth Vintage Reviews on YouTube says the Audi is an R8, and Mario says, I have something that pertains to this discussion of not wanting to buy any Transformers is HasLabs, and I want to know about HasLabs as a whole thing.
I would like to agree. I don't know that much about HasLab.
Yeah, Unicron was the first Transformers HasLab.
Wait, did that happen back when 86 got started in Studio Series?
Yeah, roughly. It was like funded
Yeah.
to like sort of coincide with that. So basically, HasLab is like it has the trappings of like a Kickstarter where you need to uh, back a figure before it gets made.
Mhm.
But really, what it is it's made to order figures because the whole point of it is it's all things that for one reason or another cannot be sold at retail, either because they're too big and expensive and complicated or like too niche. So they do like a Kickstarter campaign for them, and you put in your bid, and you don't have to pay until it gets funded. And if it gets funded, then eventually it gets mailed out. It's like Kickstarter / made to order, basically.
Yep.
Speaking of that stuff, I'm still wondering when we're going to get some specific Transformers actually, because we're missing. I forget what his name is, but he's like almost like you could consider him Point Blank's brother from Transformers G1, and
Oh, the
one
other
other
Target Master, yeah.
and one Insecticon that we're still missing is Venom. Actually, we're still missing Venom. Like they haven't
Yeah.
given us him yet, or the other guy. Well, we've got
Well, I mean,
Peacemaker, Point Blank, and everybody else. We got Chop Chop and Barrage just this year.
there's nobody to repaint into him because the other deluxe Insecticons were all repaints and retools of the regular Insecticons.
Mhm.
There's only 3 of them, so.
And
There's
then we
4
have the
deluxe
3 other
guys.
ones that are random.
Mhm.
Yeah, apparently in the G1 show they made appearances, but they were in their Insecticon colors. It was weird.
Yeah, I
What are
think
you talking about?
you're challenging us.
Barrage and Chop Chop made appearances in the G1 show, but not in their colors. They were in their Decepticon Insecticon colors, the normal colors, black and orange and
Right.
yellow.
I'm gonna need to see a source on that because I can guarantee you that is not the case.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw images. Okay, I'm gonna have to do my
Maybe
research
they were
quickly.
edited.
Remember, not everything you see on the internet.
I know, but it was from the Transformers wiki.
See, the thing is, they weren't on the show because the deluxe Insecticons they weren't licensed from Takara. They were from a different company. I want to say Bandai, but I might be wrong about that. But they didn't come from Takara. So they weren't sold in Japan because of that. And Takara was just straight up like, we don't want them on the show because we don't want to advertise competitors' merchandise.
Makes sense. Which I think one stream we should we should focus on the deluxe Insecticons Whirl and Roadbuster.
Yeah.
Quick
Same
switch.
case with those guys.
Yeah.
One character I'd say not to buy is the G1 original Chop Shop because that thing looks horrifying and it's fat. And I mean fat.
As in
It's
PHAT.
just- it's Chop Shop is a thief, like a compulsive thief. That's his.
Yeah, he
character
is a
bio.
thief, and
So-
I
Oh, wow.
actually like
He's
his
actually just
bio.
wearing a big coat with all of his stolen stuff underneath it. That's why he actually looks like that.
You know,
I like how he looks, but still, he look big.
he's friends with
Yeah,
not Hound, with Swindle.
Oh, Swindle. Wait, really?
Well, in some iteration, it's some universe.
Chop Shop's appearance in Transformers RID, I got a question also because of how he's a combiner. Though still, I do like how he looks because of his combine mode. He looks cool in RID, but it looks still weird. And I mean,
I
it
haven't
still
watched that
looks
show,
weird.
so I don't know if I could tell you anything about it.
Okay, I'm gonna then spin an image quickly.
I thought I'd get the
You know what I
frame
realized
effect
now,
from
guys?
Dragon Megatron, see if I could fit it in here, but it doesn't fit. There's a peg here, but it's the wrong shape.
Venom, Chop Shop,
So close.
and Chop Shop, and Barrage are all 3 supposed. Why I do question why they didn't give us a 3-pack because they are supposedly all 3 in connections. Actually, that's what that's what the notes of all 3 of all of them saying. Barrage's is bio. Okay, let me just Transformers. I need to go into my Pinterest.
There we go. I needed a more rubbery blast effect to give him his breath. Shame it's not red, but the blue kind of matches.
That works.
That works.
Once again, Rodimus Prime's blast effects come in clutch. They work with everything.
I mean, I guess another question too is what Transformers would that you've owned that after owning them you wouldn't buy because you were probably as disappointed with them.
Well, one I could definitely say on my end personally would be the what is it called? How do I forget these names of these figures? I don't get it. What was his? It was an original bot. I forget who it was. I'm trying to remember. So my mom was so gracious enough. So I unfortunately, my mom and I my mom broke my Transformers 2007 Brawl. So I was without a Brawl for a while, but she got me a new one for Halloween a while back. So I have had a new Brawl, but personally, Brawl I would never get again unless if mine broke again or something of the sorts. Just because he's big, and he has there's a good chance that he'll have battery problems because my first one ran out of batteries surprisingly fast for having I just put batteries right into it. Like it was super weird.
All the examples of figures that I would that I regretted after getting them were all like third-party things,
Which
not
I have no
specifically a
experience
slam.
with.
Just like Make Toys has like a Seeker mold they repainted like 10,000 times. They did Generation 2 Starscream as a TFCon exclusive one year, and I got that, and they must have run this mold way too many times because he did not hold together at all. His wings just came off, just flopped out. His joints were all really loose. His waist came undone. So I was like, man, I should have done some research before getting this. All those loose joints were like the result of, if you reuse a tooling a lot and you don't refresh the mold, it kind of decays after a while.
Well, I wonder if other people had that same complaint in other groups and just online of anyone else noticing the same thing. Like the mold is it's been reused way too many times now. This character is just almost a cheap version of whatever the original mold that they used it for.
Yeah. Oh, another big regret. Fans Toys Hoodlum. That was their attempt at doing a masterpiece hot rod that was better than the official one. It looked really nice in robot mode. It didn't have the weird proportions the regular masterpiece had, but you just could not transform that thing. It was like 45 minutes of me with like pictures, a video review, and the instructions out trying to get it to work. It was just ludicrously complicated.
Wow.
And like not fun. And I wanted to like it so badly because it looked really nice, but it was just not fun to handle like at all. I'm kind of not very fond of Fans Toys because everything of theirs I've handled has always been like really aggressively not good to actually play around with. Like they make stuff for display, I guess.
Spin, I'm sending you the image of Chop Shop.
Right. I wonder if that one version of the Stunticons with Minosaur, if that's like that, where, like, I remember there was a video, basically, I think just to transform Motor Master was basically 45 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's X-Transbots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Longest transfer.
It's not necessarily Motor Master. It's just his trailer.
Wow.
Oh.
The trailer to make them combine takes me an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes.
That's
The
crazy.
longest it's ever taken me to transfer a trailer is 1 second.
That's why I leave them in that, and I was like, you know what? I've got the money. I'm just going to buy another set of them. and yeah, so I've got them in the car mode, and I've got them combined.
Honestly, I like that.
That's
Longest
crazy.
I've ever taken to transform me was the what was his called? It was one of the big boys. Who is it? I think it was Metroplex. It took me in my honest opinion, my Metroplex, the original Armada one. I mean, he's supposed to be easy, but it took me like, I don't know, 2 hours to try and figure out how to transform him. Oh wait, never mind. Change that idea. Talk about the original Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen Mudflap, because I still can't transform him. He is too hard, too complicated for some odd reason. His entire front end just wants to break apart. Like, it's taken me this long. I'm planning to just buy a duplicate of him in vehicle mode, and then what I'm going to do is to this duplicate one, I'm going to destroy his backpack so he has better posability.
Now, Ben, I just sent you a picture because I can only send it in Messenger. So I just sent it to Children of
Here's
Primus
the first
Messenger.
one.
Okay.
So this is RID Chop Shop. For people who don't know, the insect that we see right here is one of the members. There's 6 members in total that make the entire combiner here of Chop Shop.
Oh yeah,
And-
from Robots in Disguise.
Yep.
I haven't watched that show, but I just know about the design by reputation.
If anything, I would like to say it would be kind of cool to see how they could do this Transformer right here. In Legacy.
Yeah. I don't know if
Not
there's much of an
Legacy,
audience for new stuff from that show, but I know a lot of people are fond of that design.
I haven't been able to confirm this yet, but I've had 2 different sources send me this picture. Evidently, we're going to get another Perceptor.
Yes,
Oh,
we are
yeah.
getting. Yep, we are getting a new Perceptor with the missing cassette Rhino horn, and we are getting Ratbat
And
reissue.
Ratbat.
It's really interesting because what it is it's a slight retool of the Studio Series one they did a couple of years ago that bulks up the torso, fixes like a hollow back of it,
Right.
and yeah, a slight. It's a slight retool of that guy. And everybody was like, "Why are you doing that?" Apparently, the Takara designer, because it's always a double team of like a Hasbro designer and a Takara designer. The Takara designer was a big Perceptor fan, and he wasn't happy with how the Studio Series one turned out. It was like, let me try again and see if I can fix a few things. So yeah, that's the new one. It's got a different like chest and torso, and he comes with Ratbat and Ram Horn, because of the scene he was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They got the figure there holding the guns that snap on to Ratbat and Ram Horn. That's why he's posed like that.
Well,
Honestly, I like how
the
this
original designer at Takara. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have ever watched the Netflix show The Toys That Made Us on
Yeah.
about Transformers. They had him on there, and I wonder if it was him because Perceptor is his favorite character. They got him an actual G1 one that was still mint in the box and gave it to him on the show in that episode.
Yeah. Like,
It
I
is
don't know
still
if it was
turning into a
really
tank.
him. It might have been, but whoever was the designer on this was like, I want to just do it, even though it's only been a couple years. I want to retool it and try it again because I wasn't happy with a couple things.
And
which is
hey,
like
at
a
least it's a good
Artistic
reissue.
thing I kind of respect.
And what we're getting, what else are we getting in that universe? We're also getting, if you could consider it still G1, we're also getting the 2-pack for Devastation with the Conehead and the Autobot soldier. Well, not Autobot
Yeah.
soldier, the Decepticon soldier. And which,
Yeah.
personally, to me, if they're selling that thing for a good price, like, if they're selling it, like, under $60, I'll personally buy 2 of them just so I have, like 2 the soldiers and then 2 seekers, like how we usually see in the show. Well, game.
So to answer your question about what I would not buy the previous Studio Series Perceptor because they're about to do a better one, unless I found it for $3 during that Walmart sale.
I have the original, and it's not
Yeah.
bad.
Oh yeah, no, I heard he's pretty good. I didn't get him at the time because I have the Titans Return one, but now that they've done another version that's slightly better, maybe this is the one I'll grab. So there we go. It was made for me.
Shiva Kobe, welcome Shiva Kobe. Got in early and says, phew, I actually got here at a decent time. I have Ramhorn, so I don't think I'll get another Perceptor just for Ratbat.
See, I have Ratbat, but I don't have Ramhorn, so there you go. It all works out. What do I need to do with this guy? Whenever I do photos, I make a shot list in advance so I know what I'm doing over here. So I just got to look down the list and be like, what pictures have I not taken? Right now I'm just trying to find a good picture of Hoodlum. Oh, there's a good one. Just so I can show it off.
That will be a feature in one of our streams when we start talking about displays and photos of characters.
Mm-hmm. Let me just share the screen really briefly here. There we go. So, that is Fans Toys Hoodlum that I put up there. And is a very nice looking robot because it's a Masterpiece Hot Rod, basically. You know, it's got the glasses there. Figure comes with the Target Master, the guns, the saw blade, everything. And it looks really nice, and it just stinks to handle. All the joints are really creaky, and good luck getting it into car mode. It's telling that I only found a couple pictures of the car mode. I guess they're like, well, nobody's going to get there anyway.
Well, I guess at that, what is the price, or do you know the price of that version of Hot Rod?
Definitely triple digits, just because it's a Masterpiece scale thing.
Okay, I mean, you know, in that case, like if anyone really had difficulties or just not interested in transforming it, would you get, you know, buy two of them, one for robot and one for car mode?
I mean, if you were rich, maybe. That ain't me.
It's not me either. And Mario says, can't believe I'm saying this and it doesn't pertain to the discussion for the stream. The figure I anticipated for is from the listing not too long ago and it's Studio Series 86 class Soundwave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard they're doing that. Here, let me switch it up. There's a picture that somehow has both modes in the same photo. So this person got two of them. But you know what the title of this video is? This is a thumbnail from a YouTube video. It's called Fans Toys Hoodlum Transformation Assistance.
Assistance.
So it's a video meant to help people that can't get it done.
Assistance.
Because it's really difficult to do, yeah.
That is funny.
And this is from Chosen Prime, so that's like an official store, like, here's some help with how to get this guy to transform.
That is funny. I've now returned.
And it's really funny because, like, now we have this was years before the Studio Series figure was a thing, right? And the Studio Series figure managed to look good in both modes, which the Masterpiece couldn't do. And you can actually
I'm waiting for that
transform
reshoot.
Yeah. So this is like a solved problem now. So if any other company, official or third party, wanted to take a third crack at doing a Masterpiece, what they should do is take this design and just blow it up and make it big and copy its engineering. Because now we know how
So
to do it
basically
properly.
make it look like Rodimus Prime, because if they make it that size, then it's scale with Optimus Prime from 86. Also, I have a very cool announcement on my Transformers thing. So after a bunch of work, my room is clean finally, and I can now do stop motions in there. I mean big boy stop motion, so I can actually take over my room and make it a giant scene. I am now going to be doing
Kind
the
of
4 minute
Small
long.
Soldiers-esque, isn't it?
I'm going to now finally attempt to do the full scene for Transformers Dark of the Moon Nest base scene. So I've been putting together Lego minifigures and building every character from that scene, and which has been a pain in my butt to find all the hair color pieces for each character.
Nice.
And now basically I have started the process, and I would like to show you guys the first test, which is not going to be the new one, and I'll show you the second test. May I share?
Yes, you may.
All right, let me just disconnect my headphones. You guys can hear me?
Yep.
All right. Let me disconnect my headphones from my tablet. I dislike my tablet.
Well, maybe your tablet dislikes you.
Alright, so here is the original that I made a while back.
Using Lego men as the humans is such a tried and true thing in Transformers stop motions.
I see a Gambit and Wolverine in there. So you got a little Marvel universe happening.
But that was all. What were you guys saying? I could not hear you.
We noticed Gambit in there.
Yeah, wait, I had Gambit, I had Logan, Cyclops, Jean, Jubilee. I put a bunch of characters in there. Just
Hey.
to
Why
Say
not?
hi on the screen.
It's all a part of the Marvel universe. Why not?
Yeah.
And here is the new one. This is right here what I just did yesterday and this morning. This one might take a little while because I recorded the audio for 4 minutes 19 seconds in total. So I have to basically do the rest of the stop motion, and then it might be a little shorter of a time to wait for the working sign to disappear. But right here is what I had so far. And as you can see, way better. That's all I was able to get done, but as you can see, I'm not using tinfoil or any of those other random things. I'm actually using paper and all those other things.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Mario mentioned also, I want to see Studio Series 86 Voyager class hot rod to be reissued and to have the actual colors he's supposed to have in the movie, which is that like magenta pink.
I would agree with that. It would be a kind of a cool thing to see.
Yeah, maybe they can finally pull that off. Like when they did the designer commentary for the Studio Series figure on Instagram, I forget which of the Hasbro designers it was, but they, as politely and as diplomatically as they could say, they said in the comments that basically they were pushing for it to be pink, and like the higher ups said no. But now we have the pink retro collection hot rods, so maybe in the intervening years the attitudes have changed and they'll finally do a version that looks like that.
Also, one thing that I'm disliking completely about Transformers right now is I look through Dark of the Moon. As I said, I want to collect all the Dark of the Moon Autobots to recreate Dark of the Moon itself with every character, the entire movie, which will be a huge stepping stone in my life if I attempt to do this. But
sounds difficult.
well, I'm gonna use every original figure basically, except for one thing, and that'll be the Dreads. I will buy all the Studio Series Dreads, except for the disgraceful crankcase. I am never gonna buy that toy because that thing should never have existed. We should have gotten a better crankcase.
You're just gonna use Last Night Berserker because it's.
I'm gonna buy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy a duplicate of Crowbar, and then I'm gonna take the head of Berserker that I have and slap it on him. Just because it's a better mold in general, the toy itself for Crowbar, and it's better than Berserker.
Interesting.
But basically, what I hate about Hasbro is their cancels, because there's supposed to be this Race Lane 2-pack that was supposed to be Target exclusive with Topspin and Leadfoot in the deluxe class. It was the only way you could have gotten Leadfoot. And like seriously, I would have been happy to figure out if that existed sooner or later, because they had actual packaging for it, and it was supposed to be a Target exclusive, but it was canceled for some odd reason.
I talked about this last week. Same reason Q was canceled. The first two movie lines sold really well, and then the Dark of the Moon line, I think
it was because of Skids and Mudflap.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, well, like there's a lot of people have done postmortems on what happened there, but the fact is, like, the Dark of the Moon line didn't sell as well as the toy lines from the first two movies, so they over-ordered a lot of stuff from the first few waves, didn't move, and then a bunch of the tail end things were actually canceled, which is kind of a rare thing to do. So like that's why Q didn't come out. That's why Leadfoot didn't come out. That's why like every Soundwave except for a minifigure didn't come out.
Soundwave did come out a few times. I have a few friends of mine who were able to get a mainline Soundwave out of Walmart.
Really? Yeah, they came out in.
But this was a while back.
Yeah, like they put like all these guys got Studio Series figures now, so you can get versions of them today. But like back then, they were all like they only came out in like Japan basically because they didn't have the same problems with overstocking. Yeah, it was, and that was sort of a big change in how they handled movie rollouts going forward, because from that point on the movie stuff became like a secondary line, and that was the point where Generations stopped being something that they would do when there wasn't a movie, and then they put it on hold. That became the main toy line because they're like, oh, the movies aren't selling as well anymore. So we're gonna
Okay.
And
kind
now
of shrink
basically
down
studio series
the
and
rollout on
mainline
that.
share movies, because we've had
Yeah.
mainline Transformers 1 figures or mainline Rise of Beast characters, and then studio series would later after make characters that didn't appear in that line.
Yeah. It all
And to
started
me,
because Dark of the
it's
Moon, the
kind of
toy
weird.
line, like, kind of flopped.
Well, in my honest opinion, from what I saw in videos, a lot of people were buying them for some odd reason. The characters I saw the most in a lot of old Transformer toy hunts, specifically characters that were bought, were Skyhammer, Crankcase, the Wreckers in specific, and it was Mudflap that was bought the most besides Skids. Like, those are what
Yeah.
I saw in those videos that people would buy, and I might
Yeah, that was-
personally try and attempt to get them.
That was an interesting situation. So Skids and Mudflap, they were supposed to be in Dark of the Moon also.
There are
but
deleted
then
scenes of them. There's somebody who
Yeah.
released deleted scenes, and I actually
They
think
got
I
they got
put
cut
them
from the
in.
movie because everybody was like, "Why would you do that?" Everybody hated them the first time around. But because of the way
$25,000.
Yeah, because of the way movie toy lines work, they have to be locked in a couple years before the movie comes out. There were still a bunch of Skids and Mudflap toys in the first couple waves of Dark of the Moon stuff. So, that's one of the many reasons why the toy line probably didn't move, because nobody was buying those two, because A, nobody liked those characters to begin with, B, they weren't even in the movie because they got cut.
For a fun fact, actually, there was somebody who found a scene, actually. So in the cutscenes, basically, one of them was Skids and Mudflap driving through an alley. And a lot of people actually connected that scene specifically to the death of Ironhide, actually, because of where the scene was taken, actually. And it was right next to the nest-based scene. So they were driving in, and theoretically, they were driving in from behind where the Department of Human Health and Services building was, where that road was, actually.
Yeah.
So there's that
Here's the
theory,
thing.
basically, that they were driving out and then driving into where Ironhide was.
We do know what all their scenes were going to be because of two things: the novelization and the comic book adaptation, which were both based on shooting scripts, basically, because that's how they have to make them.
R.I.P.
They were
in the
in
chat
there,
for
so
them.
yeah. So we know everything that was supposed to happen. They were actually both supposed to get killed, so maybe that's how they thought they would put them in the movie. Because what was supposed to happen is Sentinel Prime shoots and kills Ironhide, and in the movie he just kind of runs away. But what was supposed to happen was Skids and Mudflap were then supposed to try to jump him, and then he was supposed to also shoot both of them with his rust gun, and they were supposed to die too. This is in the comic book version, this is in the novel, so we know this is exactly what was going to be in the
They
movie.
tried to jump him. What happens is from what I remember, Skids is the first person to go after him, and then Sentinel shoots him, and it wasn't a fatal shot yet. And then Mudflap comes in, shoots him, lands 2 hits on him, and then Sentinel slices him in half.
That seems
And then
right.
after that, then he shoots Mudflap and Skids, and they both, disintegrate into pieces, basically. That's how it happens. A good friend of mine named MPC Clips, actually, did a stop motion of that entire scene, actually. And it was very good for what he did.
It's funny, because I could see the argument being like, oh, well, people didn't like them, so we're going to put them in the next movie and kill them off. And then they're like, why would you just put them in the movie at all? Just cut them.
And since they didn't appear in the film or get killed, actually, in the kill cards, actually, for Transformers Age of Extinction, they are labeled as alive.
Oh, interesting. So the 2 horrible twins everybody hates are technically alive and out there somewhere.
They're alive and out there somewhere. It turns out, so in the film, basically, with all the characters that were killed off, basically, Leadfoot and Ratchet were the only 2 killed, actually. Everybody else survived besides Jazz, Jetfire, Ironhide, and Alita 1, actually. So, RC Chromia, Sideswipe, Roadbuster, Topspin, and everybody else that we know, besides the ones that we know are dead, are still alive, actually. And Leadfoot, a fun fact, with the timing of Transformers, basically, Leadfoot was the first one to be killed off near that power plant, actually. That's why Optimus knew where that power plant was in the entire scene. And, what happened... Sorry.
Just to explain this to the audience, in the next movie, Age of Extinction, Kelsey Grammer's character, there's a scene right near the beginning where he's got where he's shuffling through cards that show the statuses of all the Autobots and say who's alive and who's dead. And it goes by really fast, and they don't show all of them. But people freeze frame it and go, okay, so They're
Right.
dead. They're alive. They're
Well, wait,
missing.
wait. This is even more fun, actually. They put those in auction, and so
Oh, yeah.
the people who actually got them, Trans Theories, he's a very cool person, or aka Theorymus Prime. He did an
Yeah.
entire video on that and actually deciphered each character down to see who was alive. Actually,
Yeah, I remember that
Um,
because the prop got auctioned off, so they were just like, well, now let's take detailed photos so we can see what the actual
Yep.
props were instead of squinting at screenshots from the movie.
and another thing, actually, back to what I was talking about. The Autobots all met up and grouped up there at the power plant, the nuclear power plant, and then somebody saw them clearly and called in the entire team, basically. And as they drove off, Ratchet and Leadfoot were the two specifically that were seen the most. And Bumblebee, there's this talk that Bumblebee was the reason why they did not survive, actually, and which goes into detail on Trans Theories' video. But Leadfoot first died, and then 1 week later, Ratchet dies. And since then, nobody else has been declared killed off.
Well, Mario says the designers from Hasbro on the Transformers side of things, that Evan Brooks for the Studio series and Mark Mayer for the majority of Kingdom and Legacy trilogy, and now he's doing Age of Primes.
Yeah, so it was probably Evan Brooks's Instagram that talked about the thing with Hot Rod not being pink. Very, very diplomatically, like obviously not trying to ruffle any feathers, while also trying to answer the obvious question a lot of fans had.
Cool.
What kills me is about the the Kingdom having so many characters that end up going into 86 or Legacy, because we had Gears and he was supposed to appear in Kingdom, but he instead got shot on into to Legacy, like a bunch of characters did.
Toy, and just before we round up in the next minute or two, Toy Warp Vintage Reviews on YouTube mentioned that he hurt his back, so he's not going to be joining us in the second segment. Everyone in the comments that are watching, you can join us in our Teletran 2 segment, but he's going to be introducing a friend, one of his Xbox friends, to the G1 series. So he said for us to have fun, and you guys also have fun watching the G1 series and get another person as a fan. So what else before we round up in the next minute or two?
Okay, one thing I can say. Don't buy the G1 Twinferno because that thing is a piece of crap. Buy the Titans Return Twinferno or any of the later ones, because I have experience with the Twinferno mold and I really like the toy since he was my he was my second Titans Return figure that I got. I got Breakaway first and then I got him. And funny fact, actually, for Christmas of that same year that I got Twinferno and Breakaway, I got duplicates of them for Christmas. And since then, the first Twinferno has been turned into pieces because of my young childhood, and the other Breakaway was turned into a custom wrecker named Offsite.
Cool.
My garbage. Okay, I swear somebody has a portal gun and they're making my garbage can disappear. This is the third time it's
Mr. Magnus, what say you just before we round up for a Teletran 1 segment?
This is the
Stay
third time
away from Bayverse Transformers.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I have exactly...
I might just have
And
to send you a
don't
cheater.
don't cut the kibble off of your Transformers.
No! I only do
I
that
have
if I
exactly
have a
one Bayverse
duplicate.
Transformer, and it's
But you
last
do it.
night Hot Rod, because Hot Rod.
If he's broken, can I then do it? Because I have a broken skids that's upstairs in my room, basically. It's my very first skids, and he's broken. His backpack is disintegrating. Can I, remove the rest of his backpack and then see if somebody's selling his head on eBay, and then
You
just make
can
it
do
custom?
whatever you want to with your own bots. Just don't broadcast that you did it.
I am going to have to get a bracket. When I'm 28 in the future, I'm just going to have to go back in time and fix my entire mistake.
Wait, so when you're 28 in the future, but then how old would you be in the past?
Well, that would be more likely 10, 15 years later on. Most likely. Wait,
Yeah, I don't have an answer either.
13 years or 14. 14, 15, one of those numbers.
There you go. Wait, so what you're saying is time travel will be possible in the next 3 or 4 years?
Not 3 or 4 years when I'm 28. That's like 10 years, like a decade or later. Or I'll invent it, or I'll end up stumbling upon it. Or I'll get the abilities of Flash to just go supersonic fast to the point that I could go back in time.
There you go. So as we round up our Teletran 1 segment, check out Impactor Productions on YouTube, who does some cool stop motions. And like and subscribe to our channel as we are going to head into our Teletran 2 segment. And as we see at the end of every stream. Oh, Impactor, you got a question?
What is the Teletran 2 segment about? I have not seen.
Oh, that is great, and it is good you said that. Teletran 2 segment tonight is featuring Autobot Sandstorm, who is a pacifist or a wrecker, depending on which story you look at him.
He has been in multiple stories as a wrecker, basically, or he is one of the original wreckers, actually. For a fun fact.
Interesting. Well, you got to jump into the comments and mention this.
To just quickly end this off, there's somebody who did an entire comic book scene on every wrecker that was appeared in the UK comics, and Sandstorm was in a bunch of those. And I'm not sure if he died or not. I'm not sure. The only few deaths that I know of are Twin Twist and Topspin and Rack and Ruin by Galvatron. Those are the only ones I know of.
Cool. Well, we're going to sign off for this segment, so catch us in our Teletran 2, where we feature Autobot Sandstorm.
Wrecker Sandstorm.
Wrecker Sandstorm. Till all are one.
Till all are one.
All are
and
one.
Rack and Ruin.